All right, everybody. Happy Halloween and happy weekend. What's up, guys? GeorgeTheCloud here. My name's Jorge, aka George. Welcome to the channel and welcome to my life. I have a request from one of my Patreons. Thank you so much, Greg Westfall, for your suggestions. He's the one that started to request Linda Ronstadt, and I have watched many of her videos. Some of them are here, others I have to upload from my main channel to this one, so make sure you stay tuned and subscribe, as this channel is all about the classics. But today we have a rare Linda Ronstadt 1970s interview, talks about the Eagles. Man, this looks interesting. So he writes here, the first video is an interview from around 1974, where Linda talks about her early days in the Stone Poneys, the band she formed in 1964 after she moved to LA with two of her friends from Tucson, Arizona? Okay. Other topics she discusses include how she first met Glenn Frey and Don Henley while in LA, and how they ended up forming the Eagles. All right, I'm gonna need glasses here. Yeah, okay. Well, let's get into it. Have I even reacted to an interview ever? Not that I can recall. I have done about 3,000 reactions,
Linda,
and I think this is the first time I am watching an interview that I can remember. So we're breaking new ground here. All right, grab some popcorn, fill up your water, put your headphones on, and let's begin.
Linda, can we trace things back first of all to just the end of your university days? Because you were in university in Arizona.
Very briefly.
Very briefly. And then from there you moved to California.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you go about getting into things when you came to LA?
Oh, it's so weird. You know, it's just luck. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. We came over here and we played some folk music club in Hermosa Beach, which is now mercifully a parking lot. And it, you know, it was such a dive. I didn't know. I mean, it was the biggest thing I'd ever seen. It was certainly a lot more hot stuff than anything I'd seen in Tucson, you know. And we played some hoot there, and everyone went nuts. And I thought, I'm great. You know, this is going to be easy. They like it. You know, I didn't realize it was just sort of a bunch of stone people trying to make a transition from beatnik to hippie, you know. And
Beatnik to hippie. I reacted to one video from the 50s that was about beatnik. I think it's up on my channel, and yeah, that's interesting in of itself.
beatnik to hippie, you know.
Have we lost the sound here? I just give it a second. I would like to hear this interview with sound, if possible. Man, when you have technical difficulties, listen, guys, could happen to anyone at any moment. And what you do in that situation is just try to entertain the crowd, the viewers, the people watching, the fans around the world. Okay, I think we're...
And so I came over and I lived with a bunch of people that I knew from Tucson on the beach. And we just started hanging around the Troubadour.
Oh, okay.
You know, the Troubadour is really responsible for the entire music scene over here. You know, Doug Weston is really, you know, has kept a quality club with a good sound system, place where performers can be very comfortable and do their best, and other people can see, you know, other musicians can see them, and so it gives the chance for a lot of influences to cross over and intertwine, you know. And I mean, everything I got really was virtually through either performing there on stage or in the bar, you know, as it were.
Was this the time of the Stone Poneys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that was you yourself and
Kenny Edwards, who's in the band now.
Kenny Edwards.
And Bobby Kimmel, who wrote most of the material.
Yeah.
Bobby Kimmel.
So how did the recording contract come about at that point?
Well, we played a hoot at the Troubadour, and this guy, whose name was Herb Cohen, who manages the Mothers, you know, he saw us there, and he kind of just hustled me out the door real fast and said, I can get you a contract. I don't know about the group, but I can get you a contract. And I was going, no, my group, you know, we have to be a group. And that was the end of that for the time being, because he was only primarily interested in me. And then And then we kind of broke up after that, I think, because we weren't doing very well. And I called him up and said, "Are you still interested in managing me?" And he was. And then somehow we just got back together again. We were working together because we could work as a band. At least we had an act. And then he finally decided to take the group on himself. Herbie did, and he was partners with Nick Vinay, and they were going to do it independently. And then Nick Vinay got a job at Capitol, so they took us on over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, keep in mind, most of these names I don't know. I'm learning here. I know Linda and a few others, but the managers and stuff, it's new to me.
Did 3 albums.
Independently, and then Nick Vinay got a job at Capitol, so they took us on over there.
Yeah, yeah. And you did 3 albums for the Stone Poneys, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. And
that's a lot still.
Singles too. There's one particularly written by Michael Nesmith.
Right. I learned that from a Greenbrier Boys record. Greenbrier Boys were a bluegrass group. I learned it. John Harold sang it. So I didn't even know Mike Nesmith wrote it until I had already learned it. And I looked on the album and said, "Wow, Mike Nesmith! I already knew him." It's really funny.
And then the group broke up, Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why was that at the time?
Why?
What happened,
because
Linda?
we needed to eat.
Yeah.
It was, really, we were all pulling in different directions. Kenny really wanted to play. He had just heard Eric Clapton, and he just went, "Wow, I want to play hard rock." And I wanted to play country music, and Kimmel was playing sort of jazz folk music, and jazz folk music. God, that sounds ridiculous. And
jazz folk.
we were just pulling in separate directions, so we just went in separate directions, Kenny went to India and became bliss consciousness, and I just sort of went, what did I do? I went on the road with the band forever, for the next 100 years, never came home. I still don't have a home. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. I'm an orphan forever.
Because a lot of interesting people have filtered through your band at various times, Linda.
This presenter's voice, he's got like that time period, sort of smooth, very composed voice that works well for interviews, for reactions, for all types of commentary, and I sort of wish that I had a similar voice. In fact, maybe I will try to adapt my reactions to simmer down, be more chill of the time period, and of course, hopefully, to your liking.
No, it's weird that way. It's funny, I seem to get people at a sort of critical stage in their development, and they sort of build their chops. There's nothing that gets your chops up better as a guitar player than playing every single night, twice a night. And there were a lot of guitar players around LA. I met them all at the Troubadour Bar, I met Bernie Ledden and, Glenn Fry and Don Henley. I met them at the Troubadour Bar. And they'd just be there. They'd come, they came from Texas and different places, and Bernie came from Florida.
Glenn, are those the ones from the Eagles? Glenn Fry and the other one?
And they'd just be needing a gig, and we'd know each other, we'd sing. We used to sing in the corner a lot, in the corner of the bar. Douglas Dillard would be there, and Ronnie Dillard, and we'd do a lot of bluegrass songs. Toward the end of the evening, we'd get singing a lot of white spirituals and stuff like that. The drunker everybody was, the nicer it sounded, And it was fun, and we got to know each other that way, and we got to know each other's music somehow that way, too. And then they just come and play with me, and then...
Was the Eagles in Glenn and Don's mind at that point? Were they thinking about, was Glenn thinking about putting the Eagles together at that point?
Well, what happened then was Glenn and John David Souther were together. They were called Longbridge Penny Whistle. And
what were they called?
And John David Souther were together. They were called Longbridge Penny Whistle. And then J.D. was breaking that up to go on as a single on his own. And Glenn was just kind of left with nothing to do. And I thought Glenn was so good, I just thought he was great. And I told him that he was a hot shot, and that he should come on the road with me, but I knew that it wouldn't last. I never even tried to make him think that that was what I was looking for. I said, "You're going to do something someday, but in the meantime, you're starving to death. Why don't you come and play music with me? We'll have a great time." And then I found Don from this band called Shiloh. I heard him playing at the Troubadour. They heard me. They heard a record of mine that they really liked, and they came to L.A. to cut a record, and I heard them. They were playing my version of Silver Threads and Golden Needles, and the guitar player had learned the solo note for note off the record, and I was just walking through the bathroom, you had to go through the club to get to the...
Just a quick point here that she makes, this is, the 70s. No internet, No tutorials online, nothing like that. The digital stuff did not exist. I mean, at least not the way it does today. So learning music, I mean, you really had to have a good ear and probably just be a natural musician, right? Anybody today in 2025 can go online and start taking classes and learn how to sing or play the piano, or oh, you want to look up these chords or this guitar. It's so easy, right? Even free most of the time. Back then, it's like, it's so impressive thinking about it, right? When they just had old school, record players and stuff like that, and just listen to it over and over again. And that's how you would, listen to music and then figure out what you wanted to do. But it's like everything was, compared to now, right, more complicated, more like slower, right, time consuming. It wasn't, at the tip of your fingertips. And so for him to be able to do that, like she said, is like, wow, it's like these people had real raw talent.
Note for note off the record, and I was just walking through the bathroom. You had to go through the club to get to the bathroom from the bar, and I just went, what? That's it's that solo. I thought, God, what? I was appalled that anyone would actually sit down with one of my records and learn the solo off. Like a Led Zeppelin record or something. I mean, the guys in my band do that all the time.
Led Zeppelin.
So, and I heard the drummer, and I thought he was really good. In fact, I tried to get the whole band at that point, but I don't know what happened. Something happened, but. So Glenn and Don were roommates together on the road in their motels, and they would sing. I didn't know Don could sing at that time. I just knew he was a great drummer. And Glenn found out that he could sing, and it was like a secret. They called him the secret weapon. No one had heard him sing. He was very shy. Don is incredibly shy.
Secret weapon.
So cute.
I like that.
And he found out that and Don really loved playing music with Glenn. Glenn's very dynamic. He has a great sense of the groove. He's a real groove guitar player. In fact, he can sit and make great music just by clapping his hands and singing. He's one of those kind of people. And so, and Glenn and Don both wrote, at that time. So they started talking about putting a band together, and we told them they should get Bernie Ledden. And they thought that was a good idea. And then my manager at the time, John Boylan, had worked a lot with Randy Meisner because he'd produced some Ricky Nelson records. And he told them
Ricky Nelson, I'm not familiar. Might have to react to him as well.
Had worked a lot with Randy Meisner because he'd produced some Ricky Nelson records. And he told them they should get Randy Meisner to play bass, and they thought that was a good idea. And they put this band together, and it was like people in love. It was the greatest thing to see that band when they first formed. They were so happy. They loved to play music with each other, and it was so good. The vocals were just, they're still great vocally. I think that band has not ever realized its full vocal potential on a record, but you hear it in concert. I mean, they're stunning, They're great the way they sing together.
Was that the same John Boylan who was part of the Apple Tree Theatre years and years ago?
Yes, the same John Boylan.
Yeah, Terry was his brother, is that right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I met him in the Troubadour Bar, too.
The Don't Cry Now album, Linda.
Him in the Troubadour Bar, too.
The Don't Cry.
She has a similar laugh to, like, somebody I know. One of those things.
I met him in the Troubadour Bar, too.
The Don't Cry Now album, Linda, that took you a long time to make, didn't it, at the time?
Oh, my God, that album was a year late.
Yeah. Why was that?
Oh, I forgot how to sing in the middle of it somehow. It was like going to the dentist every day, I mean, it just wouldn't come. We'd go and we'd find these tunes, and they would sort of miraculously slip away. It was like trying to catch on to mercury, I don't know what it was about that album. I was in a very bad frame of mind during that time anyway. I was very discouraged, and I thought I was a terrible singer, and I was going through that number, and my personal life was in a shambles at that point. It always is, but it was especially in a shambles then. And I was on the road all the time, and I was just very depressed, and it's really hard to be creative when you're depressed.
Because you're recording the new album.
I think that's a good point. It happens to all people that are creative, right? You hit that wall. And for example, it happened to me the other day. I was like, I'm an artist myself, illustrator. I like to draw by hand, do some paintings. I went to art school for it. And I was just making a drawing. And I hadn't drawn in a long time, admittedly, because I've been focusing on this and other stuff. And I just hit that point where I was like, what, can I do this? And like deep inside, I knew, I was like, yes, of course I can, I've done this before, I'm capable. But in the middle, it's just like, it's like something hits you and it's like, man, why am I getting stuck? Why am I kind of slow? Why isn't it coming, quickly like I wanted to? So I can totally picture her getting into like that slump as a musician and all these things going on. I have never written music or anything, but I get an idea of what it's like. And so picturing her is like, oh man, and especially her, like when you're so versatile and you're not like specifically honed into something to the max, but rather it's like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Then maybe she's singing and she's like, well, should I do it this way or should I go like that, or a different way? The more options, the more thinking you have to do, and maybe the slower it becomes, right? It's a bit of a like a challenge at that point. And then of course you have to come up with the rest of the instrumentals. Oh, what bass are we going to have here, the drums, the melody, the backup singer, etc. So I get it. So what is this shirt here? A license plate? Ocean 461. The style of the 70s, man.
No, Linda, aren't you?
Hard to be creative when you're depressed.
Because you're recording the new album now, Linda, aren't you? How's it going?
Well,
how much is done?
I like it pretty much.
Because you're recording the new album now, Linda, aren't you? How's it going?
This is such a minor point, but the change in his voice. So you're recording the new album, Linda, right? How's it going? It's like, that was such a different. I was like, did somebody else say that?
Well,
how much is done?
I like it pretty much. 3 tracks. It's really difficult for me to even approach being objective about my own stuff. I really don't. It seems a really unnatural thing for me to hear myself singing from a speaker. I don't mind doing it. I enjoy it while I'm doing it. I really don't like to listen to it back. So I mean, I kind of listen to the guitar or something like that. So I can't really say, I mean, if somebody plays a great guitar lick, then I'll say, oh, that's neat. My record's great. But if I don't know, it's hard to say. I go through periods of hating it and loving it. Every other time I hear it, I hate it, and every other time I hear it, I like it.
How do you choose the songs? I mean, You're No Good, for example.
Well, I always choose them. They always are about somebody. They have to be about somebody or for somebody. Every song that I sing has a face that I sing it to, and so when something happens to me, it's really funny. I mean, I know so many songs. When something happens to me, the song will occur at the same time. I'll think, oh, this song or that song, And if it's a song I can sing, then I'll have to sing it. I'll just burn to sing it. I can't not sing it, And I don't know. I've just got a lot of good friends that write and share the same experiences. So John David was very good for that. Since we lived together, we'd go through some horrible row, and he'd write a song about it, and I'd sing it. It was great. It was like having tailor-made songwriter, But I mean, I just hear them and then we just do them. But I pick them. I mean, they always have to be about me in a way, Since I don't write, I have to find something that's about me.
Oh, that was cut short. Man, fascinating. First things first, we hit the like. Sure, what the heck, I'll subscribe to 70's TV channel, and I'll have a link of the original video down in the description below. What can I say here? First of all, the fact that this is from the 70s, and I never, like I said, I almost never watch interviews in of itself, like aside from the reactions. It's like, I don't think, I just never, I don't know, they just never come to me. So watching an interview is very interesting to hear the artist, the regular voice, more composed, sitting down in a more relaxed environment, right? Because they're not performing, they're not in the middle of, a show, a concert. So she's getting to see like more of her personality. She's kind of quirky. She's funny. You know what? I like Linda. I'll say it. I'll just straight up say it. And this was 1974. How old was Linda in this interview? Maybe like 27? Linda Ronstadt. We're going to do some quick math here. She was born in 1946, so in 1974 she would have been around 28. I got it. I saw it. I saw it in her eyes. Yeah, it's very interesting to hear about the origin and listening to all these names, all these people, that eventually they went off to do their own thing. But it's cool how, like, you try to picture it from their perspective and be like, yeah, what would it be like to be a rock star, a musician? I think in another lifetime, I would have liked to have been a musician myself. It just didn't happen. You have ideas here and there. And another, I also like sports. I would have liked to have been like a tennis player, but I guess in this one I am a reactor, and I can I can attest to the fact that she says she doesn't know if she has this dilemma. Do I like my music? It feels weird listening to my voice. Even to me, it happens sometimes. I, play my reactions and I'm like, I said that? I talk like that? I look like that on camera? My God, why people are watching this? So I feel that, and everything about this is just like, it's really awesome to see it from the 70s. I like the time period, and I want to continue to learn more about, the musicians. And even aside from music, just maybe watch movies from the 70s, interviews, shows, stuff like that. Probably be in George the Cloud 2, where I do other content aside from music. But yeah, this was awesome. Good to hear from Linda, and I will continue to react to her. So if you guys have suggestions or anyone else that she mentioned, feel free to comment, subscribe, and at the end, do a flip. Till the next.